welcome back to the Halloween Hex Horror Series. Want a hit? One of our watches last week was the cult classic, The Lost Boys. Now, I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but this was my first time to see The Lost Boys. I know, it's just one of those ones that I just never got around to seeing growing up. You know, I wouldn't say it's like classified as one of like the scariest horror films of all time, but I know that it's a very well liked film with a big following, and I'm glad I finally got to sit down and watch it. All right, let's get down to business. The Lost Boys. Let's review. And I tell you, this was a quintessential 80s vampire movie. I wouldn't say it was really scary, but it was definitely entertaining. Even when nothing was really happening, I was invested in what was going on. There's definitely the 80s B-movie cornball factor to it. Director Joel Schumacher is kind of known for straddling that line between, you know, an A-plus film and just an okay film. But yeah, this film stars Jason Patric, Kiefer Sutherland, Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, a whole bunch of big stars from the 80s that some of them went places, some of them didn't. It's an interesting product of its time, and it's done really well with, you know, these kind of like, you know, punk outcast vampires that, you know, have their own sort of harem. The style of the film was done really well, but it took a little too long to actually show us any vampire stuff. I remember we were nearing the halfway point of the movie and I was like, I still have yet to see a single pair of fangs or any blood. But the last 30 minutes of the film definitely made up for it. It definitely goes a bit off it goes crazy there at the end. That was really fun. Regardless though, whenever, you know, there wasn't anything vampire going on, I was still invested in the story. Like I said, you know, it was told well, it's well acted, it's got a bit of that 80s cornball style to it, and yeah, it wasn't really scary, but it was a very fun movie and my definition of a Halloween watch. It most definitely falls into the category of Halloween horror. Vampires, werewolves, zombies, Halloween. Anyway, yeah, I enjoyed The Lost Boys. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I very much enjoyed it. I can see why it's got a following like it does. I'll give The Lost Boys a 7 out of 10.